area high schools and brought to you only on your local Sports Connection, TV 54.
Everybody, and welcome to Willard High School. Tonight it's the NOL contest, a battle for second place, you might say, between the Willard Crimson Flashes and the Shelby Whippets. Now, earlier in the season, we had this ball game when it was played at Shelby, and the Whippets come away the winner in that one, 80-68. Now, since that time, the Whippets have gone on a bit of a downslide, while the Willard team, who were very young, have come on. They are now veterans, even though they're still sophomores and juniors out there. They are veterans now because they've gone through half the season. I'm Bob Cundiff along with Larry Kizabeth. We're going to have the action for you here tonight. And Larry, I would have to think that this is going to be a very entertaining matchup.
I think this will be a real barn burner. As you say, both teams are competing for second place. They're probably also going to watch the other scores around the conference because if they get a little help, the winner of this game, if it is Willard, will be one game out of first place. And the loser, if it's Shelby, they're going to be pretty much out of it. Willard will drop 2 games back if things work out that somebody can beat Bellevue. So they're definitely, this is definitely going to be a battle. They're looking for second place right now with a chance to get in the back door in the first place.
Okay, now that's not a totally unrealistic happening. I remember you and I were talking in here in the green room prior to the game when you were at Columbia as a head coach here. You had a 2-game lead on these same Willard Flashes late in the season and end up losing that. So I suppose it is a possibility, and Bellevue has shown at times to maybe not be the most awesome team around. They only beat Tiffin Columbian by 1 or 2 at Tiffin Columbian. They struggled to beat Guyan 74-70 at Bellevue just a couple weeks ago. So I suppose it's a possibility, but I would have to think on a realistic basis that this probably would be for second place.
Yeah, I think you're probably right, because Bellevue certainly on paper is the team to beat. They just have all the tools that you need.
Well, in this last matchup between Shelby and Willard, as I say, earlier in the year, in fact, back on December 8th, remember what a great game that Shelby played. 80-68 was the final. And we're talking about great games. You got to mention the name of Brad Wolford. 28 points, 20 rebounds in that contest. He was just 3 rebounds shy of the whole Willard team. In addition to that, Brett Johnson had 26 points. Leading the way last time around for Willard was Mark Briegel's 21 points, and Mike Ringer added 15. I'll tell you what, they're going to do the national anthem, so let's take a station break for the national anthem as well. We'll be back. Opening tab coming up next here on TV 54. Number 53 will be Mike Ringer. Shelby will counter with Craig Mazza, number 3, or make it Craig Mazza, number 3. Mike Mahek, number 5. Brett Johnson wearing number 12. And inside we got Andy Oots, number 42, and Brad Wolford, number 44. It'll be Oots going up against Lacey at the center jump. Tap is controlled by Willard. Mark Briegel with it. Now Chris Long will bring it up, and he will set the offense. Craig Mazzo on him right away out front. Feed inside. Weir is on the baseline. 2 for Eric Weir's. Willard on the board first.
Shelby start out man-to-man. Willard's coming out in the 2-3 matchup zone.
That's a Mahek in the corner with it, and now Mazza has it knocked away out front by Chris Long. Long takes it up, left hand, up and in for 2. It's 4-0, the Flashes. Mike Mahek again in the corner. Now Mazza out front looking for help over to Brett Johnson. Mahek for 3. His shot is good. Nothing but net. Mike Mahek, and that's a sight we may see quite often tonight, Larry.
I'm not sure that even moved the net. Well, I think you'll see Briggle and Johnson offset each other. It'll be the other players I think will make the difference in this ball game.
That's Long with it. Now it's Lacey out to Ringer for 3. And this 3-point attempt is no good. And now Shelby again with the basketball, and on the run come the Whippets, Brett Johnson. And we got a foul at the foul line by Chris Long. You're looking at the Shelby offensive set out there last Saturday night at Ashland. And we might mention, by the way, that Shelby has dropped their last 4 road games in a row. Last Saturday night at Ashland, Shelby started a lineup with their starters on the bench. Their starting lineup were mostly their bench role players. Mike Mahek was one of the starters, however, that did play the opening part of the game. And Mahek contributed 34 points, 8 3-pointers in that ball game against Ashland, the game that they lost on a buzzer shot by Chad Honecker. Now Johnson with it for the Whippets on the offensive set again. It's 4-3, Willard on top. That's Mahek. This time decides against the shot, gets it back out to Johnson out front. from the elbows. Craig Mazza, his shot's in and out. The rebound comes off to Mike Ringer. Rio goes baseline, cut off by Wolford, and we got a personal foul against Mark Riegel.
Sky report on Briggle is you don't want him to get penetrating toward the basket. Brad Wolford did a nice job there stealing the baseline.
Remember, Brad Wolford had that big game against the Whippets last time.
I'm sure Coach Steve Moore is looking for him to have another big one tonight.
They need that senior leadership out of Johnson, Wolford, and Oots. They, like Willard, play a lot of underclassmen.
Nice pass inside.
Good patience for the Whippets. They finally get it to Wolford, and Wolford gets the bunny. And Shelby on top now, 5-4. And a steal by Johnson.
The line to the lane.
Shot no good. Rebound comes off long to long. Ringer almost loses it to Mazza. Gets it off the long in the lane. Dishes off to Lacey. Shot no good. Rebound Wolford in the outlet. Goes out to Johnson. 3-on-2 for the Whippets.
Wolford's doing a nice job on the defensive board at the Willard end. And Ringer's doing a nice job for Willard on the Shelby end of the floor.
And we got a steal by Ringer. As you see, Mayheck come down and miss his three. And it's still 5-4. Whippets on top by 1. This time Weirs tries to go baseline. He's cut off by Mayheck. And his subsequent pass intercepted by Mazza. Ball's loose and kicked by Oots. Should be Willard basketball.
Shelby had a 3, even a 4-on-1 coming down the floor, but we're not able to convert.
Another big crowd here tonight, as you learn to expect from the Willard Crimson Flashes. In fact, this game tonight is sold out completely. Sign on the door. Cannot get in if you didn't have a ticket previously. And that's not because of a big Shelby following either. They limit your number of tickets to the visiting team.
Well, I think the people here are going to be in for a real treat tonight. I think you'll see hard basketball.
And a hard shot by Ringer is no good. Gets his own board, however. Loses it off of Wolford's hip. Gets it back and puts it up and in. Mike Ringer makes it a 6-5 Willard lead.
Willard staying in the 2-3 zone. It's a Willard trademark. They play it well.
Key to that 2-3 is the middleman, Matt Lacey. And that was part of their problem early in the season. Lacey just a youngster out there and had trouble with the 2-3 early in the year. His role is a key one. And Lacey there with the rebound. Ringer, drive inside, shot up, no good. Rebound Wolford, and Wolford again having a good ball game against the Flashes, although it is early.
Both teams getting good penetration, but not being able to convert.
Johnson penetrates to the lane, and his shot is blocked by Ringer, but Ringer gets him with the body. It's personal foul number 1 on Ringer, number 3 on the Flashes as a team.
Foul was on Mike Ringer, his first personal.
This one will send Brett Johnson to the line to shoot 2. First substitution of the ball game in the ball game for the Willard Crimson Flashes, number 25, Chris Hay, as C. Johnson hit the first from the free throw line to tie it at 6. Second shot up and good as well. 7-6, 1-point lead for the Whippets.
Full court pressure now by the Shelby Whippets.
That's Hay with the basketball. Near steal by Mazza. Hay, however, controls and then throws it away. Ball picked up by Johnson.
Once again, they have a 4-on-1. Nice lob inside. Nice pass to.
Looks like he tried to set the lob up for Wolford. Wolford too far underneath the basket. Did a great job at tapping it out front to Oots. Looked like a play and play. Maybe it was. At any point, it's a 3-point game as Griegel misses the 3. 3-point Shelby lead at 9-6.
Brad Wolford once again comes up with a loose ball.
Shelby showing good patience out front. Lob inside to Oots, off the glass and in.
Give Johnson the assist.
Oots' second straight basket makes it 11-6. Shelby on top by 5. What a great pass from Brett Johnson that time on the alley-oop. And Johnson with the steal. Mayheck on the rebound of a miss, and we got a foul underneath. It's going to go against Mark Briegel. Flashes showing a little frustration. They want a timeout. 11-6 will have Mayheck going to the line to shoot 2, but first a Willard timeout. We'll take timeout as well. 5-point lead Whippets, 2:21 to play, first quarter. Mayheck on the line by virtue of personal foul on Mark Briegel. And Larry, that's 2 personals there early on Mr. Briegel.
That could be a real factor here because we still got almost 2.5 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Mark Briegel has 2 fouls. He's the leading scorer on the basketball team for the Willard Flashes.
Well, it's a very deep team. They do have 4 players averaging in double figures, but as you say, Mr. Briegel is the leading scorer and the only senior out there. So a very important ingredient to that ball team, and Mark is staying on the basketball floor even though it's 2 personal fouls here early.
Well, I really think if it goes to bench play tonight, Willard has to have the advantage. They're just a little deeper than the Whippets.
Weir's from the baseline right. Another but net 2-pointer. 13-8, and that ends a rather lengthy dry spell for the Flashes. It was 7-6 at one time. There was a 6-point run for the Whippets, and finally broken by Weir's basket.
And Weir's is wide open. Shelby does not want to give him that shot. He's excellent on the baseline. He's excellent on the baseline drive.
Mayheck for 3, left wing, shot no good. Ringer with a big rebound, and Hay brings it up court. Briegel stops and pops left wing, shot no good. Follow-up no good, and Wolford clears. Outlet to Johnson. Knocked out of bounds, last touch by Chris Hay.
Brett Johnson did a nice job there of not picking up the offensive foul. Sensed the defender and made a nice spin move in midair.
Now Shelby will have to set up the half-court game. Shelby is pretty much a 3-guard team with Mayheck, Mazda, and Johnson out front. Oots and Wolford underneath. That's Oots, turnaround jumper. Draws it back of the rim, and rebound comes off the Ringer.
Mike Ringer doing an outstanding job on the defensive boards tonight. It's Wolford at one end and Ringer at the other.
That's Ringer in the paint on the offensive side. His shot's no good, but we got a foul on Andy Oots. First personal foul on the Whippets in the ballgame.
Andy Oots got called for tagging the man underneath. You have to keep your hands off.
1:09 to play in the first quarter, and the Whippets pick up their first foul. And apparently before the shot. So Willard will inbound the basketball as Hay gets it out front to Ringer. Hay from about 17 feet, nothing but net, count it, and a foul on Mike Mayheck. Possible 3-point play for the Flashes coming up.
Basket was good by Mike Ringer. He was fouled by Mayheck. That's Mayheck's first personal. And a second team foul on Shelby.
Ringer now at the free throw line. Opportunity to get himself a 3-point play the old-fashioned way. Shot, however, is short, and rebound is corralled by Andy Oots. Mayheck did a nice job there of saving the pass, which was rather high from Mazza. Now this time his shot from the right wing is too strong, but Mazza gets it inside to Wolford. Nice pass. And one too many head fakes for Wolford as he's called for the walking violation.
Chris Long now will be coming back in for the Flashes, and Mark Briegel's going to take a seat here with 41 seconds left to play in the first quarter. And you know that's to keep him from picking up the third foul. Give him a little bit of a rest here. He'll probably be back in to start the second quarter.
They'll put Long at the point, and they'll move Hay to a wing position. Nice pass.
Beautiful pass.
And the 3-point attempt by Long is no good. Lacey with it. Now Ringer, and tries to force it inside, and the ball's knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Brad Wolford. But you know it had to be a nice pass, but both holler nice pass at the same time.
Willard once again showing a real tradition of Willard basketball. Great unselfish play, looking for the open man. They're at a decided height disadvantage now, though, with Briegel on the bench.
And a steal, Johnson. He'll take it all alone, puts it up with the right hand on the left-hand side. Still counts for 2 with either hand used. 15-10, 5-point Shelby lead. Shot at the buzzer, almost goes.
Almost got the shooter's roll.
As it is, it does fall out incomplete. It's 15-10 at the end of the first quarter. Shelby Whippets on top by 5. Stay with us. Second quarter action coming your way next. A little slow coming out here to start the second quarter. Willard chomping at the bit. They've been out there for a couple seconds awaiting the Shelby Whippets. See Mike Mahek about to take the basketball from the official.
Mark Briegel has reported back in for the Whippets. Chris Long took a seat.
Starting second quarter action. Shot up by Johnson for 3, no good. Rebound controlled by Wolfer. Got away with it over the back. Coach Haas not real pleased with the no call in that case. Then Mahek misses from about 16 feet. Briegel with a rebound.
Those wing shots have been open. The Flashes are putting tremendous pressure.
Nice ball work there as Lacey gets it over to Weirs. Weirs gets the bucket. This time Coach Moore not happy with the no call as he wants an offensive foul.
They got mesmerized and missed feet there watching that move to the basket, but what I was saying, the Flash are putting real good pressure on Johnson out front, but that's allowing the wing to be open.
Now Shelby again on the offensive end. That's Wolford inside. Nice strong move, and we get an offensive foul this time. And Coach Moore definitely not going to be pleased. Where was the offensive call on the other end of the floor? He wants to know.
And he's asking that right now.
Foul goes against Brad Wolford. That's his first, team's third. And Willard gets the basketball back, trailing 15-12.
Great Mazza ball hawking Chris Hay out front.
Hay stops, pops from 12. Shot no good. Rebound Wolford. Outlet Johnson. And the Whippets again on the run. Johnson takes a shot. There's Mahek inside. He has it stripped away from him. Body's on the floor. And we got a jump ball call. As both Mazza and Ringer fighting for the basketball. Good clean sportsmanship. Good aggressive play by both. Alternate possession arrow favoring the Willard Crimson Flashes. Ringer for 3. Shot up, no good. Rebound. Wolford takes it away from Briegel.
Nice cross-court pass.
Mahek just did miss the shot underneath. It drew a foul on, I believe it's going to go against Eric Weirs for Willard. Both Weirs and Ringer in the area. It is Weirs who picks up the personal.
Foul on Eric Weirs.
That's Eric Weirs first, and it's team fifth, so Shelby will be in the one-on-one in the last 6 minutes and 22 seconds here in the second quarter.
Mike Mahek at the line for 2 shots.
Mike Mahek shooting 2. And first one he misses. Made his previous 2 from the free throw line.
Both coaches have to be extremely pleased with the intensity their units are showing this evening.
Big rivalry between these two schools. And Mahek, a dead eye from three-point range, had his problems that time from the free throw line. Weirs, nice job again. Willard showing a great basketball finesse they have come to know for over the years. This time, Ringer to Weirs, 4-2.
And the Whippets have gone to a 1-3 now, 1-3-1 zone. Going to give Shelby a little different look here. Brad Wolford posting up hard inside, but Johnson with a nice drive and 2 points off the glass.
A nice move by Johnson as he fired a shot up over the trees inside. Both Weirs and Lacey, both of them standing about 6'6", were there, but Johnson just changed his direction, tossed it up over him, and a turnover on the Flashes as it goes off the foot of Chris Long.
Kevin Stevens checks in for the Flashes.
Chris Hay now reporting for Chris Long.
And Kevin Stevens checking in as well for Matt Lacey. Looked like Lacey might have a bit of a stinger on the ankle. I've seen him hobbling just a little bit. He's over working on his shoes on the sidelines now. Nothing serious, I'm sure. And there's a nice block inside. Weirs on Wolford. Then Briegel comes up with the basketball.
That brings the Willard fans to life.
As they crowd showing their appreciation in a big way there. As Mr. Wolford did a lot of damage to him first time around and doing so again here early. Loose ball picked up underneath by Ringer, and Ringer puts it up and in for the score. 17-16, 1 point, Willard lead. Johnson to Mayheck, and we're going to have a walking violation. Incidental contact, and
whoever had the ball threw it back over their head and went right straight through the basket.
Didn't even catch it. Then we got a timeout. Whippets, 17-16. Shelby still with a 1-point lead, but the momentum definitely in the favor of the Willard Crimson Flashes. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back right after these. Some Bob Cunningham calling the action for you. And Larry, I tell you what, Willard Crimson Flashes had the momentum on their side, still trailing by 1. For the last couple minutes, they've been dominated by the Flashes' play.
That was a good timeout called by Coach Moore to try to settle the troops down a little bit here.
Now Willard on the offensive side, and Oots is going to pick up a personal foul. I'll tell you what, you got to like Mike Ringer's style of play. Very enthusiastic and animate out there on the court.
That's right. He's a cheerleader.
And can give his team some things to cheer about as well.
That's right. He does a nice job on the floor. He's a good leader on the floor, and he gets the crowd going.
Doing a nice job scoring in double figures so far this year for the Flashes. He had a big game earlier in the year in the absence of Mark Briegel against Cleveland South. Ringer tossed in 33 points in that ball game, so he can score with the best of them should the need arise. And there's a shot by Ringer, which is no good. Rebound control by Todd Feldy.
Brad Wolford from 3-point.
The big guy. Says, I can play outside, inside, any place I want to play. Give him 3. It's 2016. Willard on the other end. It's Briegel. Or make that Ringer.
From Briegel. Once again, the unselfish play, the great passing by the Willard Flashes. And Eric Weird with a steal.
And we got a whistle before the shot. And a foul going to go, I believe, against Feldy. That'll be number 1 on Todd Feldy, who just checked into the game.
Foul is on Todd Shelby, his first personal.
That'll send Eric Weirs to the line. Weirs thus far in the ball game with 6 points. Mike Ringer team high in the ball game thus far, as Ringer has tossed in 8 markers thus far. We're still waiting at the free throw line patiently for his free throw attempts. He should be shooting 2. Oh, they got a 1-on-1 before the shot. They get 2 anyways as he hits the first. Second shot up and draws back the iron. Rebound comes off to Wolford. Now Johnson. To Kelly Yarman, who's in the ballgame for the first time, and a foul on Stevens underneath. It'll send Yarman to the free throw line for 2. We see Stevens, who committed the personal foul.
Shelby once again showing that fine transition game that they possess. I know I had them 2 weeks ago against Upper Sandusky, and that particular night they were just outstanding in transition. Many of their guards have great vision.
And the big guys are not too bad as well.
No, they can run the floor.
Run the floor, and Wolford, one of the better passers for the big guys in the area.
And Wolford just shows he can hit from 3, too.
Well, Yarman misses both of them. Probably still a little cold just coming off the bench for Shelby Whippets.
And Willard can take the lead on this possession.
Weirs takes a shot. Nice job. Call to bank. It's good. 21-20. 3:18 to play in the first half. And the Flashes on top by 1. Johnson for 3, and that's one way to silence the crowd.
And you just sense we're going to have this all evening.
23-21, 2-point Shelby advantage. Willard with the basketball. Chris Hay out front, now Briegel. Shot in the paint, up and no good. Bodies flying everywhere.
And Briegel has to be careful not to pick up that 3rd foul.
Whistle blown, but it's out of bounds. No foul on the play. Ball goes out of bounds. Last touch, I believe, by Briegel. Whippets will get the basketball back. Both teams making some substitutions at each stop now on the floor at the moment for the Whippets is Johnson, Yarman, Mazza, Wolford, and Feldy. Willard counters with Long, Briegel, Ringer, Weirs, and Lacey. That's Mazza for the Whippets with the shot. And the rebound for Weirs. Mazza with the big steal underneath. 1-on-4 decides best to hold up.
Nice pass inside by Wolford.
Yarman misses, however, but Wolford has it. Shot up, and in. Nice exchange, all made possible by the big guy, Brad Wolford there, who ends up with the bucket, and a 4-point lead now for the Whippets. Turnover by the Flashes.
Hey, Coach Haas wants another timeout.
My, how momentum swings. This time, it's the Shelby Whippets who have momentum on their way. As you see Coach Bob Haas of the Willard Flashes as he brings his troops in to talk things over. We're going to take a timeout as well. 25-21, 2:15 to play. First half. Stay with us. More exciting action here on TV 54. Winning 9 to Shelby Whippets 27. Larry, some things of note.
Well, I was really impressed in the second quarter the way Willard turned it around. They won the quarter 19-12, and they did it with a 1-3-1 zone defense. Shelby's going to have to come out and figure out how to attack that 1-3-1. They did a good job against the 2-3. They're going to have to be able to attack the 1-3-1. And they're going to have to keep looking for transition. They have shown the ability to get past Willard on the transition. They've been able to get the transition basket. Willard, on the other hand, has got to get Mark Briegel into the offense. They had 3 players score in the first quarter, or in the first half. They were led by Eric Weirs with 17. Mike Ringer had 8, and Chris Long had 4. That was all the scoring for the Willard Flashes, so they've got to get Mark Briegel in the offense. And I think they've got to get on their offensive boards a little better to keep Shelby out of transition.
It's been a very exciting, very interesting game to this point. They expect much more of the same in the second half. Shelby starts it on the offensive end as we're down the way. Mike Mayhead tries for the three-pointer to start the half, doesn't make it. Rebound inside by Mazza, and Craig Mazza gets the basket, and we're all tied again at 29.
Shelby man-to-man.
Shot by Ringer, and in and out, Wolford with a rebound, and Wolford having another good night tonight against the Flashes.
Mike Ringer showing me some real varied ability from the first time I saw him play.
And Andy Oots inside as Oots is apparently back to mid-season form after his ankle injury took him out of a number of ball games for the Whippets. He's looked fairly well tonight. Briegel back in the offensive flow. His shot's no good. Rebound off Long, and Mayhead controls for the Whippets. Nice drive inside by Johnson, and he gets the roll, gets it to go. 33-29 as right away the Flashes are finding themselves trailing by 4, 33-29. The Whippets on a quick 6-point run, and Bob Haas says, that's enough of that. Let's take another timeout. They've worked every time thus far. They try it again. Timeout Willard, 33-29 with 6:50 to play in the third quarter. We'll be right back. On a 6-point run here to start the third quarter of play. Shelby with the basketball. Brett Johnson. Oh, no, Shelby doesn't have the basketball. Brett Johnson tried to get it. What the heck?
That's a head-up play by Brett Johnson.
The bad thing is Willard was going to let him have it. I think one fan over in the crowd says, wait a minute, it's our basketball. So now Willard on the offensive end, trailing by 4, 33-29. Getting out of the gates rather slow here to start the second half, but Eric Weirs, he has not been slow the entire game. 19 points now for Eric Weirs on the nice baseline drive there.
You just can't give up that baseline to Eric Weirs because it's money in the bank.
33-31. Shelby on top by 2 and with the basketball.
Willard now going man-to-man.
Flashes have shown a number of different looks on the defensive side of things. Mike Mayheck says, give me a step, I'll put her in. A three-pointer for Mayheck, and it's 36-31.
Let's look at that defense again. That may have been their matchup zone. Brad Wolford with a steal. 2 on 3. Let's see if Shelby holds it up, and they do.
Then Johnson, ill-advised, tries to get it into Oots. Luckily for the Whippets, they get a break as the ball bounces loose inside, and Chris Long picks up a foul. It was just a good break for the Whippets because that pass inside was, without a doubt, forced and ill-advised.
Brad Wolford was lucky he didn't get an offensive foul as he lowered his shoulder. Call could have gone either way.
Second personal foul on Chris Long, and that sends Brad Wolford to the line. He's shooting 2.
Maybe it's continuation. We thought the ball would be out of bounds there.
I definitely thought so.
We'll have to look at the tape.
Wolford hits them both, and it now makes it 38-31. 7-point lead for the Whippets as they have come out roaring. 11-2 to their advantage so far here in the third quarter over the Flashes. And just a minute and a half into it. Hay from the left baseline goes to zero. Chris Hayes, first two in the ball game, and makes it a 5-point Shelby lead, 38-33. Ball out of bounds, last touch by the Shelby Whippets.
Shelby takes the pressure off. Chris Long brings the ball up unopposed.
Long gets a baseline. Nice feed to Ringer, and Ringer puts it in for two. Chris Long's baseline drive made that basket possible. Wolford for three. Shot is short. Rebound Long. And controlled by Johnson, who puts a three up of his own. And again, he gets that nice shooter's touch. Three-pointer, Brett Johnson, and it's 41-35, a 6-point Shelby advantage.
Last two dimes down, Shelby's had Brad Wolford outside on both occasions. I would think they'll want to get him back inside. Although he proved he could hit the three.
Chris Hayes spots one up for three, and he hits it. So a battle of three-pointers here all of a sudden. This time Chris Hayes counters for Willard, and it's back to a three-point game of 41-38. And we're looking at three-pointers. We're going to look at Mike Mayheck eventually, but this time Mayheck gets it into Wolford, who misses the easy shot. Rebound Ringer again. Now Weirs for three. His shot's long. Yeah, maybe that'll bring both teams back down to the two-point stratosphere. Ringer, though, with a steal.
1-on-2. Says, I can hit that shot.
It'd be 1-on-5 if you put it in. He does.
Picks up his 11th and 12th points on the night.
And it's 41-40. Shelby by one.
And that chip shot Brad Wolford missed last time down is looming large right now. Shelby wants to get a basket on this possession. Willard, good aggressive man-to-man defense. And Eric Weirs, I believe, is going to get called for the foul.
Now, as I was looking at that, I thought that was a case where it might have gone, again, either way, because it looked like Wolford made the initial contact, but how many times there's always the guy who retaliates that gets caught.
That's right. I thought it could have been a traveling call, so that's why I was a little hesitant.
But it does go against Weirs, and for Eric Weirs, that's personal foul number 2. And a steal on the inbounds pass by Chris Hay. 2-on-1 break for the Flashes, and Mazza does a nice job of knocking the ball loose. And that gives Shelby a chance to get it back. It's still loose. They finally do. And now they got a 3-on-none. Oots misses the bunny. But Johnson's there to save him. Andy Oots is buying the next meal at Burger King or wherever they may be. McDonald's probably in our case, as he just saved the embarrassment for Andy Oots, who missed the bunny underneath. Johnson puts it up and in.
And you got to give a lot of credit to Craig Mazza for setting that play up. Nothing will show in the statistics, but he's the one that turned up. Yeah.
Oh, and there again, it's the guy who you don't think the foul is going to go against. It does. Probably though, as much as the Willard fans are going to dislike that, probably a good call, because as Long and Johnson did tie up in center court, Long did initially make the contact with Johnson. However, the fans are booing because Johnson pushed him down afterwards.
Definitely.
But as much as Willard fans are going to dislike that comment, probably a good call. Now Shelby with it on the offensive side. Blocked behind by Weirs. But Oots puts it up and in. A lot of action. 45-40.
Eric Weirs may have gotten away with a foul right there.
Shelby by 5.
Over the long haul, the calls bounce themselves out.
And we got a foul underneath as Wolford clearing things out. He gets caught. And for Brad Wolford, that's personal foul number 2.
Brad Wolford, his second personal. That's the first team foul on Shelby.
Willard with the inbounds play going out front to Hay from long. And Hay throws it away. Coach Bob Haas with the reception. And
not very pleased to be catching the ball.
No, he was not in the play, I don't believe, that time.
But once again, give credit to Craig Mazza, putting tremendous pressure on Chris Hay. Andy Utes with a baseline drive. Pretty shot up and under for two.
Andy Utes, his second basket in a row, and now it's the Whippets on a 6-point run. And it's 47-40, 7-point lead for Shelby, but Willard has the basketball. And what could be a fairly large possession for them. They need a bucket. Ringer misses. Lacey misses the follow. And somehow another little Mike Mayheck gets the rebound. Johnson for three is no good. Tap underneath by Wolford, no good. Ball's loose. And Willard has it.
2-on-1. Nice pass back from Long to Hay.
Basket's good and a foul as Chris Hay gets the bucket.
Tremendous unselfish play by Chris Long. And Chris Hay lets him know it.
Hay now will go to the rebound as a personal foul was called on Andy Utes, and for Utes, that's number 3.
The third personal on Utes. Chris Hay will go to the free throw line for one shot.
And again, an opportunity for a three-point play the old-fashioned way as Hay will step to the line. Todd Philly first going to check in for Andy Utes.
Now Shelby checks in for Shelby.
Hay at the free throw line, shot up and good.
Chris Hay with 8 points on the evening.
Now Mazza with the basketball. Johnson out front. Chris Long on him, although playing a little back. Shelby moving the basketball well. Johnson inside the Wolfers. Strong move up to the hoop. Shot no good. But controlled underneath by Mazza. Now Mazza. Ball stolen away by Ringer. Now Long out front for the Flashes. 47-43. Shelby on top. Willard with the basketball. Nice pass, but we get a foul as Mike Mayheck can be called for the personal out front. That'll send the Flashes underneath here for the inbounds play.
For all the action we've had, there have only been 3 team fouls on each team in this half.
Outlet Long to Hay. I'll tell you what, Larry, there has been a lot of action, no doubt about that. Very much like we expected. Ringer. And I think there are cases where Ringer got away with pushing off inside, and he draws a foul on Shelby.
Todd Feldy's going to pick up his 3rd foul. It looked like he had pretty good position, but the referees have better position than we do.
His 3rd personal.
Both teams playing very aggressive basketball. Of course, you expect that when you get a rivalry of this magnitude.
In this half, you've seen nothing fancy. It's just been hard-nosed, man-to-man defense and tremendous offensive play.
Ringer with the free throw. Gives him 13 thus far, looking for number 14. And also looking to bring Willard back to within 2. 28 seconds left to play in the 3rd quarter as Ringer misses on the 2nd attempt.
Brad Wolford with another big rebound.
Shelby looking like they're going to go for the last shot. Down now to 15 seconds. Clock says 10 and Johnson says go. Shot up, no good. Rebound controlled by Ringer. Gets it off to Long, although behind him. Long shot with 2 seconds, no good, and the buzzer sounds. And that does it for 3 quarters to play here at Willard High School. And as we expected, very, very exciting ball game at the end of 3 quarters of play. It's a Shelby Whippets 47, the Willard Flashes 44. The all-important 4th quarter coming away next, so stay with us here on TV 54.
Why install the water furnace in your home? Simple. In winter, the water furnace heats with maximum efficiency geothermal heat. In summer, the water furnace cools and
See the guys as they're ready to start the 4th and final period of play. the action fast and furious. The scoring a bit lower than I would have anticipated, though.
Matt Lacey and Mark Briggle have been held scoreless here in the ballgame. Only 4 people have scored for Willard. Andy Oots with the steal. He's going to take it coast to coast for 2.
Andy Oots makes it 49-44. Shelby on top by 5. And we'll see if Briggle and Lacey can be factors in this 4th and final period of play. Hay with a miss from the left side. Rebound Oots, outlet to Mayheck. Put a 1-on-2, and Mike says, I'll wait for the rest of the guys in the red shirts.
Well, Mark Briggle remains on the bench for the Willard Flashes.
Wolford, shot up and in underneath Brad Wolford with a big 2. Now Shelby with a 7-point advantage.
That type of shot right there has to be money in the bank. You can't afford to miss that chip shot. And he hit it that time.
And more often than not, he does. And we got a foul underneath, and we'll see who it goes against.
I think it'll be on Andy Oots, and if it is, it's his 4th.
Foul is on Andy Oots, his 4th personal.
Good call, Oots it is. But Shelby not yet in the bonus. High school basketball at its best. I tell you what, we're always glad to have it for you here on TV 54. Can't think any place else I'd rather be anyways, Larry.
That's right. Friday night and basketball. What a combination.
Unfortunately, as the games get better towards the end of the year, that means that the end of the year is approaching quickly, and tournament time coming up right around the corner as well. We'll have a whole schedule of tournament games for you, and that much I can guarantee you. We're looking at a large number of tournament games. A lot of good ball teams in the area. These two are part of that. Willard with the basketball, trailing by 7. Long sets it up from out front. Mayheck on him. That's Hay. And we got a body on the floor as Brad Wolford gets knocked to the ground by, I believe, Matt Lacey, who's going to pick up the foul. Lacey's first personal. And Kevin Stevens checks in for Lacey. And Mark Briggle still on the bench.
I don't know if he's suffering from illness or just having a bad night. I don't know what the situation is here. He desperately misses offense.
Of which he has provided none on the scoreboard, as you mentioned earlier at the start of the quarter. Johnson. No good. Chap. No good by Wolford. Feldy with it, in trouble, and Kevin Stevens picks up a personal foul, which will send Todd Feldy to the line.
Todd Feldy's probably relieved here because every time he goes around the ball, he seems to get the foul call on him, but this time he gets to go to the foul line.
Well, Mark Briggle coming into the game now for Willard.
But it's going to be important for Mark Briggle to put the game on his shoulders. He's the senior leader out here.
You see exiting their picture was Chris Hay. Willard with 6 players on the floor. Finally, Chris Long decides to take a seat beside Coach Bob Haas. Todd Feldy at the line for Shelby. And he hits the first one. Big free throw by Todd Feldy. That makes it an 8-point ball game, 52-44. Free throw here, even though we still have plenty of time left, would make it a 9-point game. 6:25 to play in the ball game.
This game has certainly been a game of spurts.
Feldy hits them both. Now 53-44.
Shelby remains man-to-man.
Feed inside, knocked away by Wolford, controlled by Mayheck. Gets it off the Feldy. Now Mazza will bring it up court. Mayheck gets a baseline. Shot blocked by Weirs into the hands of Wolford, who puts it up and in. 10-point game, making it an 11-point game, 55-44. And see the official warned Mike Mayheck not to slap the basketball away when it comes through the cylinder.
Coach Haas going back to full strength with Matt Lacey reporting back into the ball game. So we have the same group for the Flashes that began the ball game.
That being Lacey, Briggle, Weirs, Long, and Ringer. And that's Briggle, an air ball. But Lacey gets it. Basket's good and a foul.
And that's Matt Lacey's first 2 points in the ball game. Going to the line with a chance to make it 3. And the foul's on Brett Johnson. That's his second.
Basket was good by Matt Lacey. He was fouled by Brett Johnson.
So Lacey now stepping the line. And good opportunity for Willard here as they are trailing by 9 to get that extra point without the clock ticking away on them. As Lacey hits it. The first points in the game for Lacey, as you mentioned, he now has the 3. And the first points in the quarter for Willard. Back the other way we go. Johnson, nice body control for the 2.
Willard showing their 1-2-1-1 press. Shelby beat it easily.
Bring it.
Nice pick and roll. Nice execution by the Flashes there on the old pick and roll.
And looks like Todd Feldy picks up personal foul number 4. As you see Todd in your picture. Like you say, it seems like any time poor Todd gets around the basketball, he gets called for the personal foul. But he's done his job well in here tonight for the Whippets. He has spelled some of the big guys, Oots and Wolford, from time to time, and done a nice job in doing so.
Eric Weirs picks up point 20 on the evening, looking for 21. And the lead is now 9, 57-48 Shelby.
Make it 57-49, 8-point lead, 5:25 to go in the ball game. Mayheck on the offensive board, shot up and in. Mike Mayheck on the Mazza miss. And the little guys getting some rebounds for the Whippets as well.
Shelby coming up with the big baskets here when they need it. Once again, the pick and roll for Briggle.
Shot off the mark. Lacey up and in. Still an 8-point game, 59-51. Lacey now with 5 points in this fourth quarter. Feldy in the paint. And we got a traveling violation.
And Coach Moore wants a timeout.
Timeout, Shelby.
4:42 to play in the ball game. Shelby calls timeout. We'll take our last timeout of the night as well. It's 59-51. Shelby on top by 8. Stay with us. The remainder of tonight's ball game coming away next here on TV 54. They break from there. Coach Steve Morris sending his troops back out there. The Whippets on top, 59-51. And we have just 4:42 to play in tonight's ball game.
We'll see if Shelby makes a spurt here. It seems like whoever calls the timeout, when they come out fired up and make a spurt.
Chris Long takes his time setting the offense. Still plenty of time left, though. Well over 4 minutes. That's Ringer from the baseline. Shot no good. Lacey again with the offensive board. This time he turns around and tosses it in. And Lacey taking over here in the fourth.
Matt Lacey scored 7 points here in the fourth quarter, and they've all been off the offensive rebound.
And those are his only 7 points of the game. And now it's a 6-point ball game, 59-53. Mayheck for 3, right wing. Shot no good. Ball out of bounds and off of the Shelby Whippets. This is the time I like. Both the coaches doing a lot of coaching. Both Haas and Moore up on their feet. As you see them in the background. They put on just as many miles as the players themselves from time to time. In a close ball game like this, you can bet they do. Long. Shot no good. Rebound underneath. And I believe they're calling a foul against Shelby.
I think it's on Todd Feldy. If it is, that's his 5th.
And Mike Ringer gets up with a stinger as he was holding his shin. That's Feldy you see in your picture. Ringer out here out front. There you see Mike. As Mark goes here, looks like he has a cramp. As you see, they got to work on that calf muscle. As Ringer ends up with a cramp. He was tangled up inside with a number of players. Todd Feldy with his 5th personal. He takes a seat, gets a good hand from the Shelby crowd here. Sold out crowd here tonight at Willard High School. Shelby had absolutely no problem selling their ticket allotment, and the sign went up on the door early tonight. Game sold out. Willard looking to stay 2 games behind Bellevue and hope that they get a break from somebody else. They do have Bellevue here, a game you'll have here on TV 54 later on here in the season. Shelby also has a date with Bellevue at Shelby, so the possibilities exist. Shelby with the basketball was stolen away by Lacey. Picked up by Long. Behind his back, through trouble. Tries to get it inside the ringer and it's stolen away, but Briegel gets it back for the Flashes. Nice pass to Ringer to Lacey. Up and in! Matt Lacey with the basket.
Matt Lacey making up for lost time. He's got 9 points in the quarter.
Now the Flashes look like they're playing with newfound enthusiasm, chasing the basketball. That's Johnson for the Whippets. Out to Mayheck, this time says no to the 3, as Shelby will slow it down. 3 minutes of play in the game.
Willard fans beginning to get into the ball game.
We got a foul on Weirs as he reaches in on Andy Oots. That'll send Oots to the foul line for a 1-and-1.
Foul is on Eric Weirs, his 3rd personal.
Been quite some time since Shelby has scored a basket. The last time they scored was Mike Mayheck on the offensive boards at the 5:20 mark. We're now at the 3-minute mark, 2:56 to be exact.
These are big free throws.
And he misses front end of 1-1, but it comes down to Mazza. Johnson underneath, shot up, no good. Johnson with his own rebound, but the ball's loose. He does control out front. 4-3. It's no good. Wolford from behind, no basket, offensive foul.
Foul's going to be on Brad Wolford.
Wolford with the over-the-back foul. And that will bring him down to the other end.
Wolford, his 3rd personal.
And again, Willard with an opportunity to score some points without the clock moving. As Matt Lacey will step to the free throw line.
Matt Lacey to shoot 1-and-1.
Front end of the 1-and-1 for Lacey. His shot's good. .245 to play in the game. Matt Lacey taking charge. A basket here will make 8 straight points in the ball game for Lacey. An 8-point run for the Flashes.
Full court pressure, 1-2-1-1 for the Flashes.
Ball
And
is
they got the interception.
thrown away. Who gets it? Can't tell from up here.
Referee signals Willard.
I gotta say, for the sound of the crowd, I must have said Willard, but I tell you what, there's no way we can see from up here.
It's a 2-point ball game with 2:40 to play.
And Willard has the basketball. Looking for a tie or a possible lead.
Shelby with the man-to-man.
Long to Weirs. Back to Long for 3. Shots up. No good. Rebound. Lacey. Lacey strong to the hoop. Up and no good. And rebound by Ringer. Up. No good again. Lacey fighting for it. And it's going to be controlled by Shelby. A number of opportunities, but Willard cannot convert. Now Shelby again with the basketball.
Shelby wants a good shot this time down the floor.
The ball was on the ball. Last touch by Mazza.
Went off his knee.
Get the ball back to the Flashes. Ball game heating up. Intensity level extremely high. The crowd going crazy.
Kelly Yarman reports for Mazza for the Shelby Whippets.
So Shelby now going with a little bit more size to help on that backboard on the rebounding side of things, as Yarman, the better rebounder. Ball goes out of bounds and they give it back to Willard, although the officials did have to confer on that one.
They both wanted to make sure they were pointing the same direction.
1:51 to play in the ball game. Willard down by 2, but with the basketball.
Kelly Yarman. Eric Weirs did a nice job of posting up inside, but Kelly Yarman had his hands all over his back. Referee stand right there and Eric Weirs is going to go to the foul line.
And the basket you've seen, by the way, folks, did not count. Whistle before the shot. Foul on Kelly Yarman. As Larry said, it'll send Eric Weirs to the free throw line, where he's done an excellent job tonight at the line. These will be important because this will be the front end of the one-on-one. The shots get just that much tougher when you're talking 1:42 to play in the game and trailing by 2. Weirs, front end, no good. Rebound Oots. Yarman with it now for the Whippets. Pass over to Johnson. Feed inside to Wolford. Knocked away underneath by Briegel, but we got a foul on Lacey on the push. There you see the Shelby bench. Shelby players, they went over to confer with Coach Steve Moore, setting their strategy for the final minute 20 to play.
Craig Mazza reporting back in for the Whippets.
Brad Wolford stepping to the line for Shelby. The senior thus far in the ball game with 13 points. Number of rebounds. He's shooting 2. First one's good. That makes it a 3-point game, 60-57. The free throw converted here will make it a 2-possession ball game. Got it. 61-57. That broke an 8-point run, and we got a whistle, and it's going to go against Brad Wolford. For Wolford, is that 3 or 4 on Brad?
That is his 4th.
So now Wolford will have to be careful for this final 116, and also a possibility could be overtime. You never can tell. It's just a 4-point game. 1:18 to play. Shelby wants a timeout, but let's keep it here. You're looking at the foul situation, and a number of players in some foul trouble, in particularly the big guys for Shelby.
Shelby, both Andy Oots has 4, Brad Wolford has 4. Other than that, nobody has too much trouble. Johnson has a couple, Mayheck with 2. For Willard, Eric Weirs with 3, Chris Long with 3. So really, Willard's in great shape foul-wise.
Interesting ball game, and it's come down to the wire. 61-57. Shelby with the lead, and Willard will be going to the free throw line.
And Mark Briegel still has not scored for the Willard Flashes, and here in the 4th quarter, Matt Lacey has all but 2 of Willard's points.
11 points in the quarter for Mr. Lacey. Eric Weirs has the other 2, those both coming from the free throw line. Weirs at 21 in the ball game, 11 for Lacey. 13 thus far for Mike Ringer, but none here in the 4th. Leading scores thus far on the other side for Shelby. 18 points for Brett Johnson. Mike Mayheck with 10 and 15 for Brad Wolford. Andy Oots countered with 12. So 4 players already in double figures for the Whippets. Now it's Lacey at the free throw line.
Well, he's been hot here in the 4th quarter. He needs to continue that.
He has picked up the last 8 points for the Flashes thus far, but he misses the front end, the one-on-one, and Shelby again with the basketball.
Chris Long with the steal.
Long forces the shot. Offensive foul.
That's the 4th foul on Chris Long, but more importantly, gives the ball back to the Shelby Whippets with a 4-point lead with 1:12 to play.
Good aggressive play by Long, just a sophomore, but he forced the shot up against the Shelby pressure, got called for the offensive foul. And like you said, Larry, that more importantly gives the ball back to Shelby.
Willard once again, full court pressure.
Again, Willard with the steal. Briegel with it. Shot up and does not go. Lacey, offensive board and in. Matt Lacey again with an offensive rebound. 2-point game. 1 minute exactly to play. Shelby with the basketball and clinging to a 2-point lead, 61-59.
Matt Lacey has been Willard here in the 4th quarter. Shelby taking the air out of the ball. Willard with good pressure.
Who will they foul? And when will they foul whoever it is? It's going to be a foul on Lacey as he fouls Mike Mayheck, and then Chris Long is on the floor. Looks like another cramp.
He'll feel that cramp about 2:30 tomorrow morning.
He won't feel it all if they can somehow never pull this one out. and it'll hurt twice as much as if they can. Well, Mike Mayheck, another one of the super sophomores in here, at the free throw line. He hits the front end, and that makes it a 3-point game. Saturday at Ashland, Mike, after having an outstanding 34-point game, missed a crucial free throw, which may have possibly put Shelby over the top. Tonight, however, he makes a big one. This one will make it a 2-possession game again, but does not go. Rebound to Weirs, and it's a 3-point game with 32 seconds to play. Willard looking to set up a three-pointer.
Shelby with good pressure. They're playing that three-pointer very, very hard.
Well, they take it inside the ringer, but he cannot save it. Out of bounds, the basketball goes back to Shelby with 18 seconds left. Ringer is down again. That cramp again, as you see him pulling on his toes, trying to get that calf muscle worked out of there. But a big turnover by the Flashes gives it back to the Shelby Whippets, who have a 3-point lead.
Whippets must get the ball inbounds here.
Steal, shot by Ringer, up and in. 1-point game, Shelby on top. And we got a timeout, Willard. 1-point game, 62-61. Timeout, Willard. The points haven't even been marked up on the scoreboard yet. Everybody looking up at the scoreboard saying, where's the points? Finally got them. Trust me, folks. 62-61. Shelby on top by 1 with the basketball and a timeout called by Willard. What are they going to do?
They're going to look to pressure the ball inbounds. If they don't come up to steal, they will foul immediately. And, you know, Mark Briggle has not scored a point. He's the one that came up with a big steal to get him within 1 point. Shelby must get the ball inbounds here. I think Shelby has one more timeout. They can call it if they don't get it in within the allotted time. But they must get the ball in. Look for Shelby to send a man deep. They've got 4 men up. They've done this before. Late in the ball game, they send a man deep. Let's see if they do it here.
Well, last time down, they set a pick to get Mazza open.
That's right.
It worked out. They got the ball to him. But then, as you mentioned, Briggle come up with a big steal.
I would look for him to go deep only because there are 12 seconds left. That makes Willard come the full length of the floor if they do mishandle it.
Well, this time it's Mazza who will handle the inbounds duties. And they pull Ringer off of him.
Ringer's going to watch for the long pass.
They do go the short route. Now Mazza with it. They're chasing after him. Do we have an intentional foul? Or do we call one-on-one? One-on-one. Although, I tell you what, there was a situation there where they definitely hammered at him. It could very easily have been called an intentional foul because Chris Long definitely swung the hammer.
Chris Long is fouled out. You know, that was such a situation. There might have been no call there because he really didn't get him that much. He came up with a big
the big hatchet act. The look of it was vicious.
Yeah, but he practically missed him, and then Mazza lost the ball out of bounds. It could have been Willard's ball with no call.
And now Mazza will go to the line with a one-on-one. He makes them both. We get a 3-point game, and Willard will be looking for somebody to fire up the 3. Plenty of arc on it, and it drops. Nothing but net. Mazza.
For young players, watch the second shot. Craig Mazza will take a deep breath to relax himself right before he shoots it.
Crowd's stomping her feet. Mazza's shot is good.
2 big free throws.
And this time it's stoppage of play is so we can get some ball players in the game.
Matt Adams is in for the Flashes. I would guess he's probably...
a violation on the end line by Mike Ringer of the Willard Flashes. Gives it back to the Whippets, and that will probably do it with 9 seconds left.
Anything can happen here, though. Whippets must get the ball inbounds.
Tough break for Willard. Good break for the Whippets, who has the basketball. And they're pulling it out. 4 seconds. They're down to 3. They're throwing around, and the game's going to end.
When Mark Briggle is down, he's having problems with that leg.
Shelby comes up the big winner tonight, 64-61. In a very, very exciting ball game. it's the Whippets on the road who knock off the Willard Crimson Flashes. And that again ties them up for second in the NOL race, as Shelby has taken both games of the head-to-head series against the Willard Crimson Flashes. Just an outstanding ball game, one that flowed back and forth throughout. It was Shelby at the end of one quarter, 15-10. Willard turned it around by having a big second quarter, making it 29-27. Then it was Shelby again at the end of three, 47-44. Fourth quarter stall, Matt Lacey have a big quarter for Willard, and he drew him back into the ball game. In fact, got him back to within one at 62-61. But Shelby gets the big couple of free throws from Craig Mazza, and then a big end-line violation on the inbounds play with 9 seconds left. For all intents and purposes, gives the game to the Shelby Whippets. Run down the scores for us, Larry?
Okay, the scoring tonight for the Willard Flashes, they were led by number 21, Eric Weirs, with 21 points. Mike Ringer was second with 15 points. Matt Lacey chipped in with 13, all in the fourth quarter. Chris Hay had 8, and Chris Long had 4. Only 5 players scored for the Willard Flashes, total of 61 points. For the Shelby Whippets, they were led by Brett Johnson with 18. Brad Wolford had 15. Andy Oots with 12. Mike Mahek with 11. Todd Feldy and Craig Mazza both chipped in with 4 apiece, but Craig Mazza hit 2 critical free... I can't talk. Craig Mazza hit 2 critical free throws right at the end of the ball game to help put it away.
So again, the final red, Shelby 64, Willard 61. Both teams are now 6-3 in the NOL, and pending the outcome of tonight's ball game between Bellevue and Tiffin Columbian. If you figure Bellevue come out on top, although it could be a good ball game. If Bellevue wins that one, both teams will be 3 games back of the Northern Redmen. Overall, Willard now 8-6, while Shelby moves to 8-7. I'd like to thank you for being with us. Tomorrow night, more high school basketball here on TV 54, or I should say tomorrow morning, Sunday morning at 9 a.m. We will have the Crush Line Egg Galleon contest, and of course, immediately following this Shelby Willard game, they stick around and you get a chance to see the Upper Sandusky Galleon game, a game I'm sure also a very good ball game, although we haven't heard anything over here at Willard High School tonight. But for tonight, Willard High School, it was Shelby Whippets on top, 64-61. For our color man Larry Kisbeth and my cameraman Dave Evan, I'm Bob Cundiff. For everybody at TV 54, thanks for being with us.
Stay tuned. There's more high school basketball action coming your way on your local Sports Connection TV 54.